It's the Trump administration versus the courts in the case of another migrant deported to El Salvador. Federal judge ruled that the administration violated a previous court settlement when it deported a 20-year-old who entered the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor. Senior reporter Catherine Falder is following the latest out of Washington here. So the judge referenced Kilmar Abrego Garcia in his ruling, but in this case, the government is not admitting that it made a mistake. Let's talk about the differences here in both cases.
Yeah, the government in this case, Kira, is not admitting that they made a mistake, as you know, despite the judge in this case, who is a Trump appointee, ordering the government to facilitate this man's return back to the United States. Now, to break this down a bit, there are multiple differences here, one of which is that this was, as you just note, in violation of a previous court settlement. This was according to an order that the judge issued. This was a court settlement, a class action case back in 2019. So it was in violation of that. And this man who goes, he was referenced, his name is redacted. He was referenced with a pseudonym Christian is the name that is used in these filings. So essentially this group that sued the government, essentially they want to have their asylum applications adjudicated while they remain in the United States. So it wasn't just that he couldn't be deported to El Salvador, it was he couldn't be deported really anywhere. And in this settlement, the parties settled in 2024. So what's happening here is that the government doesn't believe that they violated this settlement. They say that he was deported there because they allege that he was a member of a gang. But either way, this tees up another court battle, specifically in terms of the U.S. negotiations with El Salvador, in terms of returning him back to the United States. It's the second known person, at least that we know of, where a judge has ordered a migrant to be returned from El Salvador to the United States. We'll see how this plays out and if the government will, in fact, negotiate with El Salvador.
So the judge also ordered the government not to remove other individuals also covered by the settlement. Are they obeying that order?
It's a good question. We at least don't have reason to believe that they aren't obeying that order at this point. The plaintiffs who are representing this group say that it appears only one was wrongfully deported, and this is the one that we're talking about and referencing here. But at the same time, there's just no way really of knowing at this point, or at least having confidence that some of these others won't be caught up in these deportations. But it doesn't seem like at this point, Kira, that any additional people have been removed that are covered by that settlement.
All right, Catherine, thanks.